2026 cohort, mentoring students on
This meeting is
Standout in
being
social
recorded.
impact, guiding participants through the journey of transforming ideas into impact. Omolola brings 7 years of experience working at the intersection of economics, development, strategy, and impact-driven project management. Her work spans the development of infrastructure, education, health, transport, sustainability, design and engineering. Such development that supports evidence-based policymaking for the continent. Omolola is also the co-CEO, Impact and Strategy of the Kayode Alabi Leadership and Career Initiative, where she leads programs that have reached more than 10,000 young people with mentorship, skills development, and career building opportunities. Academically, she is deeply grounded in microeconometrics with research cutting across strategic planning, health dynamics, education, poverty, inequality, and conflict. Her passion lies in using research as a bridge between data, policy, and development practice, ensuring insights translate into real, measurable change. Beyond her formal roles, she hosts Clarity Call with Lola, a monthly IG live series where she shares practical wisdom and amplifies expert voices to empower young people to live with purpose, clarity, and intention. At her core, Omolola is committed to service, knowledge sharing, and designing systems that reduce inequality of opportunity, enabling individuals and communities to rise to their fullest potential. Her session at GMP26 offers a refreshing perspective on shaping your narrative, amplifying your strengths, designing sustainable structure, and building initiatives that inspire trust, momentum, and meaningful change. Your social impact journey deserves clarity, structure, and guidance. Visit our website at www.nichub.org today to register for the Growth Mentorship Program 2026 cohort. Learn directly from leaders like Omolola A.K. Fasasi and take the first step toward building the change you want to see. Every great
Okay, so without further ado, let's welcome our mentor for tonight. You can unmute and clap. You can use the react button. Miss Omolola, we're so glad to have you, ma. Welcome, ma.
Okay.
Everyone. I love this video. I think we can close for today.
Good evening, ma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you loudly.
Okay, great. I was saying I love the video, but I think we can close for today.
We're glad you love it, ma.
Wow. Yeah, like I need this video, honestly. This video is rap and it is, I don't even know. It is wonderful, honestly. The video is wonderful. Thank you so much, Makeup Capacity Development for inviting me. I don't want to show you my face and I'm going to turn off my video because I need my network bandwidth to make sense. Kindly confirm that you can still hear me.
Yes, ma, I can hear you, but your voice is a
Okay.
little bit faint, ma.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Let me take off my headset. Is it better now?
Yes, ma, I can
Is
hear
it better?
you, ma.
Okay. I think it's my headset.
So I was saying good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you, Nicholas Alifa, who is my friend, for inviting me. And to the team, you guys are doing a great job. The reminders, the follow-up, and this video just blew my mind away. Thank you so much. So I would like to put off my video so that I can have like a great network bandwidth. So you don't have issue of we can't hear you, you're cracking and all. So just permit me to put up my video. Okay, so we are starting today, but I made a request that I want us to kind of do like a pool. I don't know if we can bring the pool up again. That will be like my entry point into today's session. Well, let me just share my slide as I do that.
Hi, Omolola. The poll is up. I don't know if you can see it from your end. Good evening.
Okay, I actually can't see it. Let me stop sharing. I'm coming. I actually
Okay.
can't see it. I saw it before, but I can't see it up again.
Yeah, so it's going to be around where you have the chat, participants, and all the other options. I I want to confirm, Precious, can you see the poll?
Yes, I can.
Can you see the result of the poll?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me ask someone who is not an admin. Any participants,
I
Queen,
can
Give?
see. I can see. I brought it up already. Sorry,
Okay, you can see it now.
mined it when I was trying to. Yeah, I can see it now. Great.
Okay,
So
great.
let me just share my screen. And
Let me know when you want me to end the poll, but for now, what you will get is the live um, analysis.
yeah, that's fine. Um,
Okay.
that's good. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see my screen? Is my screen up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can see your screen.
Okay, great. That's fine. Let me put into. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, thank you. So, yeah. So let's begin. So let me just put the pool here. We'll go into it. Good evening once again, everyone. As I've been rightly introduced, my name is Omolola Fasasi. But in case you see Omolola Likwede elsewhere, I used to be Omolola Likwede. That's why these days I just put Likwede in brackets because a lot of people are used to Omolola Likwede. They're just getting used to Fasasi. That's my new name now. So I'll be discussing about standing out in the social impact space, which I named to be the blue ocean of social impact. A lot of people might want to say social impact space is not really a blue ocean, but I just want to give it that and let's see where we go from here. So the purpose of this session is just for you to stand out, is you having like a unique identity in a space that seems to be crowded. If you're in this space, you understand what I'm saying. Everybody, everyone, kind of like we have an NGO working on one thing or the other. One person or the other is passionate about one thing or the other, and we are all there talking about it on LinkedIn. In fact, if it goes to LinkedIn, if you're not careful, you just be tired and depressed. You feel like a lot of people are doing a lot of things and you are not doing anything. LinkedIn, you see a lot of people saying they got this scholarship, they got this grant and all. But how can you stand out? How can you have like your unique identity in that space? So, like I've been introduced, currently a research fellow with United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and a co-CEO for KLCI, short for Coyote Alabi Leadership and Career Initiative. So this poll is just for us to start. Anyway, I think I actually did not make one thing clear. I'm so sorry to the team. I was not expecting that there will be an option. I wanted people sort of come up with their own word. So like, but this is fine. So I think we'll do it in the chat. But this is okay. I have. So I think if you can just put in the chat, it does not need to be fear or lack of fund or network or something. It can be something else. If you can just put in the chat, that's in one word, what is stopping you from standing out? I'll address this pool too, but I would just love to see in the chat too what exactly is stopping you. What exactly is stopping you from standing out? I'll browse through the chat. If we can quickly. So while we do that, let me address the pool. So some people said fear. I think majority mentioned lack of funds. Why am I not surprised? Why exactly am I not surprised? Lack of funds. Really? Would that really be one thing you are not standing out? Lack of funds. A lot of people, like 52%. That's like more than half of the pie chart already. We have 26% fear. Yeah, yes. And 22% network. Great. So let me just see the chat if we have something. Oh, Nigeria economy. Somewhere, will you mind just unmuting to explain what you mean by Nigeria economy? I'm so curious to know. Why did you say Nigeria economy? If you cannot unmute, you can send it to the chat. But I would really like to hear your voice. Okay.
Okay, not really to spite, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I think that place is a little bit noisy.
Yes, okay, not really to spite Nigeria per se, but I think I've seen life outside and I've seen life inside Nigeria, and I can see that there are some basic things that we don't have access to, that you have to fight for and all of that. So I feel like the government, which is also contributing to the economic situation of the country, is part of the challenge that I have. And I speak
Yeah,
for all young people that just got out of school. So that's why I just put it out Nigerian economy.
I hear you, Samuel. I honestly hear you loud and clear. Yeah. Uh, that's true. That is totally true. You have a point. But I personally believe that if there is no problem, if there are no problems, there will be no opportunities. So in all this Nigeria economy situation, in the process of Nigerian, you should be able to look for ways to stand out. I'm sure that's what we are here to talk about anyway. So one way or the other, I might just make mention of it. But I love this pool to see that most people are talking about lack of funds. And honestly, like somebody mentioned to me one time when I was also complaining about lack of funds, is a senior person in this space. He said funds should not really be if the fundamental problem you have for doing one thing or the other is funding, then your idea is not clear enough. Because if your idea is clear, you will see the low hanging fruits you can do that might not require a lot of funding for you. Do you understand? For instance, I'm currently working on a full-blown research job with a friend of mine, not the research, anyway. It's a policy document. She's doing something and she want me to like do a research on children in Nigeria. It's a full-blown research work. And will not spend a dime on that research. That research would have cost millions for some people. But for this, we are going zero cost. And we had to brainstorm on how can we achieve that. And now we have a framework on how to achieve that. Of course, if she's to hire me, she'll have to pay a lot. But because I'm coming in as a partner, she's not paying anything. Other tools I need, she could get them in kind. People that I need, she's getting them as volunteers. She's using her network. She's using her social capital to get people of quality on board to get her research done. And she's not spending a dime on that research. So that is one thing I would just want to say when it comes to funding. We mostly want to do the big things. We refuse to look at what are the low hanging fruits. that can actually, if you want to plug mango, and you are seeing one beautiful mango up there, you are trying to plug it, but you're unable to plug it. Are there other mangoes that you can just stretch your hand and pick and are still worthy enough? They are ripe enough for you to eat and will not harm you. Why not plug them first? At least you need to eat to have energy to be able to stretch your hand enough to plug the one you are desiring up there. So that's just what low hanging fruit is. So sometimes it's because we refuse to look for the low-hanging fruits and just do them. That is why lack of fund is usually a problem for a lot of people. And for fear too, this one is a big problem anyway. I hear people that mention fear because if you're afraid of starting out, you don't even want to do anything because maybe you are scared of what people will say. What if it does not make sense? I remember when I wanted to start my IG life, the first thing was I don't even like interview. I don't know how to interview people. Like I don't even know how to host events. How am I going to do this? So what I did for the first few weeks was I was any live. The moment Instagram just bring the notification that XYZ is going live, I joined the live. Why? Because I wanted to see how it is being done. And because my one fear was, I don't know how to do it. How will it look like? And I have to conquer that fear by taking action. So this pool is just for us to know that whatsoever thing is it that is kind of hindering you from doing what you're supposed to do, there's always an answer to them. So we can end the pool now and let's move to the next thing. So you have to bear with me. This will be interactive. So please, if I need you to put something in the chat, please don't delay so that I will not sleep here. If not, tomorrow morning we'll be here. Okay, Juliet mentioned lack of clarity. Isaac, understanding. Yeah. So I hear you guys. So let's move. This will be story like I'll be talking about story and we'll be sharing some tips. We'll be doing story and we'll be sharing some tips. But let's move on. So I love this. I hope you can see my screen very well and nothing is blocking it. Let me just put this one right there. Are you with me? Oh, I've lost you guys.
Yes, ma'am. We can see your screen clearly, ma'am.
So I want to start with intersectionality is your superpower. Actually, I'm referring to myself anyway. Intersectionality is my superpower. I remember when I wanted to start in the social impact space, I had a lot of skill. I know how to do a lot of things. And I was asking myself, where does all of this, where do you all meet? I love research, not just like I have a lot of skills. I love a lot of things to like, I don't want to do just one thing. You know, when they say somebody is multifaceted, that can be a problem. I had that problem. I love designing projects, implementing projects. I love directing, managing operations, portfolio, managing volunteers, and I love research. I love economics. By the way, I studied economics. I love economics. So I'm like, okay, how will all of like I love economics, I love the development space, I love education, I love research. Then so what am I going to do with my life with all of this love and love and love here and there? And I have to sit myself down and ask myself, where does all of this meet? So I do career, how to choose career. Like I did a training on it for some secondary school students. And because I was given that topic, I have to go and do a lot of research and know. And I came across a Venn diagram on how to chart where you should be using Venn diagram. I don't know if we have mathematics guru here, but everybody should know Venn diagram. We were taught in secondary school. Those three circles, set theory, three circles. You know when you have, oh God, I wish you are physical so I can use the board. when you have the 3 circles, you have the first circle, just imagine in your head. You have the second circle, there's a place both circles meet. Then when you add the third circle, there's a place where the 3 circles meet. I have to do that for myself and say, okay, this is what I love doing. This is what is paying me, and this is what I cannot do without. What exactly is that middle that is holding them together? So that is my superpower. That's why I say intentionality is your superpower. So the 2 words that exist, my name is Omolola. I live in 2 words. I live in the world of data. That's with data and research. And I live in the world of project design. People say project management, but I like breaking it down. So you know I'm not just managing projects, I'm designing and implementing them. So I usually say project design and implementation. It's still project management anyway, but I just like people to know that I'm not just managing, I'm designing them too. So that is where I meet. So now when people now ask me, what do you do? I tell them that I'm a development strategist that use research as a conduit to design and implement policy and programs that bridge the inequality of opportunity for underserved communities. That is how I came up with my DNA, my impact DNA. Because I just love all of this, I had to look for a way where they meet. I just don't want to be everywhere. Like this is dragging me, this one is dragging me. Where is the meeting point? I found out that my love for impact space can stay while my skill and love for economics and research data can actually be a resource to serve my love for the impact space. That is why I say I live in 2 words. I have data and I have impact projects, design and implementation, and I marry them together. And interestingly, it has it was actually one of the story I wrote when I was applying as a research fellow into the UN. One of the like that is what I wrote in there. And that is what I currently do, even where I am. So it's possible to get lost because you just want to do what everybody is doing. You want to compete for the same resources, like Samuel mentioned, the Nigeria economy. You want to be speaking the same language. The issue is the possibility to get lost in that noise is there. If people are saying, like now, climate change is the new thing. It's like, it's the hot babe in town now. Climate change is the hot babe in town. Everybody wants to be in the climate space. But should we all be in climate space? Not really. Everybody wants to do this because it's the hot babe in town. Everybody wants to do this because that's the cake that is existing. So we all fall into the trap of copy and paste because we want to be like everyone. We want to speak everybody's language. Your uniqueness will not slip through. We filter out because you just want to be where everybody is. So that is one way I stand out. Interestingly, not everybody in the impact space or the development space is doing what I am doing because not everybody in the development space understand how to use evidence to design projects. Not everybody in the development space understand how to do research, not just your route to the answer research. I mean deep work research, doing big analysis to come up with evidence-based and proved policy recommendation or program recommendation. Not everybody have that skill to do that. So I have to bring down my uniqueness into the impact space. So when people are talking about passion, oh, I saw a girl, I saw some set of people, they are out of school, they did not have school bag, and let's go and do this for them. I'm the one in the room that always say, okay, I know it is so good to be good, it is nice, but let's take a pause. Do you think these guys really want to go back to school? I'm the one that asks that kind of question because I understand the place of evidence-based work, not just you going out in passion. In this space, impact space, we do a lot with passion. We are very passionate, we just do things, but most of the things we do are not grounded in structure, are not grounded in research, are not grounded in strategy. So I am always that development strategy voice that say, okay, guys, I know this is interesting, we are passionate about this, but we need to be sure. So when people complain that, oh, we try to empower people, okay, there was a time a lady was complaining to me that they bought some set of machines, blah, 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 to some young people and they sold it. And the first thing I asked her is, yes, there was, did you ask them? She was like, I just felt that was what they needed because they were not employed. I was like, that's why they will sell it. Because you don't design program for how you want people to feel or behave. You design program for how they want to behave. In fact, that's even the first step of project design, empathy. So that's what I bring. That is my uniqueness. And thankfully, there are some people in this space now I've seen few people trying to look at project design and implementation from that angle. But at least I'm happy I'm also in that space. So standing out isn't about doing more than others. It's about being more of yourself in your work. What exactly about you is unique? What is that one skill that you can do better than others? So that is one thing that will make you stand out. Trust me. Even where I am currently now, funny enough, where I am currently is more research. Because UN is a research, the UN agency I am, we have different kind of UN agency anyway. But the one I am is a secretariat. So they're like a think tank. They're technical partners. So they do more of research work, blah, 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 and all. The uniqueness I bring into this place right now is my project management skill. Because everybody here, they do research and all, blah, 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 blah. But me, I'm bringing my project management skill as my own uniqueness. That is why I'm sort of like sought after. If they want to do a project, let's see what Omolola thinks, blah, 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 because I bring my project management skill into this space. So instead of trying to adapt into a space, I look at, okay, what exactly is lacking that I have that I can contribute, and I bring it into it. Another uniqueness I bring into this space that I'm currently is I'm somebody that I'm very organized. I like my folders being organized because I do operation management and all. Of course, as a project manager, is one of the things you have to do. So I'm that one person that open a we have like in UN we have this what do they call it? Like a OneDrive. I can't remember the name, but it's like OneDrive where every work and document are. I'm that kind of person that is organizing it instead of him being scattered. I met it scattered. I'm saying, okay, for 2025 folder, let's have a folder for 2025. Every work that's for 2025 goes there. So when you need something, you don't start looking around and all. That's another uniqueness I'm bringing in. So when they need something, they'll be like, oh, what do you think about this? Because they know that is one thing I can do. So you need to be more of yourself in your work. What is that one thing you can bring in? So the revolution of emission. Let me continue my story. How a researcher become a builder of solutions. The foundation. My live experience growing up. I don't usually say this often. You might most likely not see it a lot on social media and all, but I grew up having two realities, like two realities. I was born in an urban place. If you know Lagos very well and you know Oshodi, you will know Oshodi is not a rural place. It is an urban place. It is an urban place. You get. So I was born in that place, and I'm used to um, a kind of lifestyle. Of course, I was not born with a silver spoon, but at all, we're not. That's poor, poor, poor. I don't know if you understand. So I'm used to a kind of lifestyle because of where I was. I have big buildings around. I have nepo babies around that were my friends that we hang out. I was going to a good school. We're not rich, but we're at least living in an environment that will make you can be rich by association. You can actually be rich by association. Like you don't have the money in your account, but the environment you are living in makes you feel good. Yeah, that was my upbringing. But reality is, and I only have to pack all of us to go and live in Alagbado. Like I remember the first day I got there, I told my mom, Kai, I can never live here. Like coming from Oshodi, a bubbling place, to this place that there's even one small ant biting your leg. I told my like it's just bushy and as well I cannot live here. So coming from those places, from Oshodi, I saw a reality of life, how education is valued, how education is a thing in that kind of community. Then I moved to a place where the thing you can obtain there, like at most, teenage pregnancy, chain smokers, louds, like those are the things you can obtain. In fact, when we got into that community, a lot of people knew because we were different. Like we were different in that kind of community. I have some of my friends that they will say, you just be walking and you don't want your leg to. Guys, you know where I'm coming from? If not for life situation, what should I be doing here? You get? Then I realized that, I was living in a bubble, honestly, Shodi. I thought that's just how the world is. But moving to that kind of other reality, I realized that, oh boy, there are some people in this world that could not go beyond where they are right now, not because they choose to, but because they are victim of circumstances. That was okay, then I started researching. That was when I came to a concept called inequality of opportunity and circumstances. Some people just get unfavorable outcome, not necessarily because of their ability or their skill, but because of the opportunity they're exposed to and the circumstances that they are exposed to. And it is a big deal, it's a concept. Then I was like, okay, this is interesting. Then I now saw that this reality I am in Alagbado, I'm not the only one that is experiencing this reality. There are millions of young people in underserved communities. That was the spark for me. I saw young people that could not do anything with their life, that some of them could not even go to secondary school because their parents could not just afford it. Not because they are not brilliant or smart, but because that is the kind of background they're exposed to. Then I went to school. That was another miracle, another story on its own. Then when I was doing my master's, especially in the University of Ibadan, I was exposed to the reality that data matters for real people, that data is not just abstract. Like I really shaped my research life. And I understood, I started doing micro analysis, like dealing with people, not just the big economy. I was dealing with analysis that matters to people, real people. Then I know all the data I see are not just figures, they are people. Then I could relate it. Then the icing on the cake for me, I went to Maiduguri for the first time in my life. Of course, I did not tell my mom. It was when I got there, I told her that, Mom, I'm in Maiduguri. If not, she would not have allowed me to go. Then I saw another reality that, okay, I thought my reality is a reality. There are other realities. There are people in displaced communities. So my own is just rural, right? There are people in displaced communities that don't even have access to school. Of course, there is school. It's just affordability that is the problem, right? But these people, it is not even affordability. It is also accessibility as their problem. That was just the spark for me. And interestingly, my trip to Maiduguri influenced my PhD research work. So I did research on IDPs. So when I was presenting my work, my lecturers were like, okay, have you been to IDPs before? This one you're talking about, you are so passionate about this. I say, yes, I've been there. So that explains your passion. Like, so those were like the spark for me. Then that was what bets the development strategies we see today. Then my PhD work is helping me to balance my impact space work, because now I understand research better, how to do micro level research that can influence policy, that can influence program design. It's just like when you plug charger into your adapter and you plug it into your phone, it's going to charge. So that was just what happened. That was just like the revolution for me. But honestly, there was a story. It started from me leaving Oshodi to Alagbado. That was just the revolution for me. So let me move on. So now let's talk about you now. Now you've heard about my story, how I created my niche, how my story started, how I came into the impact space. Okay, there's one thing I did not say. When I finished my uni, I was like, okay, I know I'm passionate about this thing, but I need to start doing something. I'll talk about it. Then I volunteered with an organization. That's my first organization I volunteered with. I volunteered with an organization. She was doing great things, but she was doing it for the Nepo babies, the rich kids. They were paying for it. I was like, nah, this is great, I know, but this is not what I want to do. I want to do it for people that fit into my story. So that was how I got myself into underserved communities. But I started with the Nepo babies, training them and all. But I just know this is what I want to do, but not for this set of people. Knowing your audience is very important. I know the words, but the people were wrong at that point. I have to shift. So when I get there, I'll tell you I adjusted to the right set of people. But let's talk about you now. The number one pillar for you to stand out is the power of niche. I told you my story about how I arrived at my niche on this. Most social impact leaders, we suffer from jack of all trades. There's one word I hate when people tell me, I'm so sorry, hate is a strong word, but I need to use it. When they say I am a serial volunteer, it gives me a headache. Like, what are you serialing? What exactly are you serial? Why are you a serial volunteer? When people come to me and say, I want to volunteer, but I don't know what to do, the first thing I ask them is, what are your interests? You do not just volunteer because you want to volunteer. You volunteer because what you are volunteering for or where you are volunteering at mirrors where you want to go, mirrors your path. So you cannot be jacks of all trade. You cannot be a volunteer for an organization working in climate change. You're also a volunteer for an organization doing SDG 4 quality education. You're also a volunteer for SDG 1. You're a volunteer for SDG 11. You are a volunteer for SDG 12, safe and sustainable communities. You are a volunteer for 17. Life on land, you're also a volunteer. You're a volunteer everywhere. So you now say you're a serial volunteer. Your DNA is everywhere like that. That is the problem. So you cannot just be an activist trying to do everything. You cannot be doing everything. You need to have a core. So when I wake you up and say, Samuel, what is your core? What exactly are you doing? Queen, what exactly are you doing? You can tell me, this is what I'm doing. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. For instance, if you ask me, what exactly are you? I'll tell you I'm passionate about inequality of opportunity and circumstances. Then how do I do it? Might not be more than one approach, but at least it's one thing. You get. That's it. So you cannot be jacks of all trade. You need to, and specialization does not mean you are using one approach. They are two different things. For me now, I'm passionate about inequality of opportunity. How do I achieve how do I bridge inequality of opportunity? I use education as a tool, and I use youth empowerment as another tool. So in a way, I'm in the intersection of SDG 4 and SDG 8. Decent work and blah blah blah. Because 4 and 8 safe, I can plug them. They are like one can link to each other if done well anyway. You get, so the approach might be more than one, but the main thing, the goal is one. So you have to focus on one specific problem and you need to build expertise on it. I posted something on my status. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago. When I started this journey, I was just passionate. Yeah, of course, I'm a smart kid. I had one in school. I'm smart. So this is not about not being smart. But I have actually, technically in my space, I've not really built that expertise because I'm passionate about SDG 4, quality education. I'm not really an expertise in it. Like, you cannot wake me up and ask me some questions and I can speak the language. You know, the languages you speak are not English or Yoruba or Hausa or Geek or something, no. Like the terminologies you will use. And I will know that, of course, okay, you're an expert in this field. I actually did not have it. I did not understand some things. And there was a day I even granted an interview and a question just threw me off balance. I was blabbing. Like, I know I was saying rubbish, but I just needed to say something to escape the interview. And I told myself, okay, you are not grounded enough in this thing. Yes, you are passionate, but you're not just an activist. You want to be a strategist in this field. Like, you want to be known, not just like a noise maker. Like, you want to be known in this field. Then you need to get grounded. Then I decided to build expertise on it, train myself, blah, blah, blah. So I posted on my status 2 days ago. There's an event ongoing in the UN. It's called African Regional Sustainable Development Forum. So there's a forum for young on young people and employment and blah blah blah. My director just decided to give me a slot to speak. In fact, that morning she was telling me, she came to meet me and said, "Are you prepared?" I'm panicking. I was just like, "I'm going to do it." She just decided to give me a slot to speak in that event. We just finished yesterday. And I presented what I've prepared. They asked me a lot of questions. I answered the questions. Like, I gave some interventions, blah, 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 and all. And she came to meet me. She was like, "Oh, wow. I can't believe I was panicking that maybe you will not do well. And this is a big deal. You performed more than I expected." And a lot of people were coming to me. Then yesterday, then that's 2 days ago, I self-reflected. I was like, okay, I was not like this like 3 years ago. Like, how did I become this bold? Then I realized that it was just a process. This process, a place of me grounding myself, being an expert in one thing. If you ask me questions about climate change, because I'm an economist anyway, I might have one or two things to say about it. Yeah, but I will let you know this is not my field, but this is what I think. That does not mean I'm going this way, so it's not mean like, oh, because now Omolola have told us to have a niche. I'm just education. Anything of governance, I cannot say anything on it. No. I'm just saying that if education is your field, you must be like, that does not mean you know everything anyway, but you know enough. You know enough. In other things, you know one thing or the other. If they want you to talk about governance, at least you are smart, you should be able to say some things. So now, one action step I need us to take, I don't know if you have your notes, but I think it might be nice to put it in the comments. I want you to define your social impact DNA in one sentence. What is that one problem you solve better than anyone else, and how? So now we are doing the what and how. Remember I told you that my DNA said I'm using research as a conduit for project policy and project design and implementation, anyway, management for XYZ. So now I want you to put in the chat, what is that one problem you are passionate about? Yeah, let me use the word passion because it's very important for a lot of us. What is that one problem you are passionate about that you know you can solve better than anyone else? And what is that approach that you are using? So I'm looking at your comment section right now so we can move forward. Chat rather, I think I'm used to social media. I'm looking at the chat. I say comment section. I'm looking at the chat. I'm expecting. I want to really move forward from this, so I'm expecting. Now let's define. Of course, you can redefine it, shape it, and all, so that you can you know that this is what you are doing. You can reshape it later, but now let's have it. Let's have it now. So let me move forward while you type that, because I think I'm running out of time already. So why am I talking? Or let me see if in case you need to see it. I've not seen anything in the charts. So you don't need to write plenty sentence. And please don't take it to ChatGPT or any other place. I just want it to be something you are writing. You get? We can refine it later, but let it be something that you know you are writing from your own hearts of hearts. That one problem you know you are passionate about, and the how. Yeah, I think there's some. Oh, great. Oh my God, we have a lot right now. Oh, thank you so much for putting it in the chat. I think I can break down art concept and teach it in a way people understand. I am an educator. I connect with people so well. Juliet, thank you. Yeah. So your teaching approach, I'm trying to figure out, but I think I'm passionate about giving minority voice, and I'm using education as a tool to bring out their confidence. Okay. So Juliet, one thing I want you to do for me is, what is that one problem? So now, I think I say this often. GMP team, you have to forgive me. I might need to take a little bit of time. I think I see this often. When you ask people to state problem, they end up stating solution. I don't know if you get me. For instance, if I say, what problem are you solving? I've seen it a lot. Maybe I ask people, what problem are you solving? Say, I'm trying to make people learn how to read. That's not a problem. That is what you are doing. Do you understand? That is what you are doing. So now, Juliet, I need you to state, what is that problem exactly that you are solving? Bridging in the literacy gap through education and sorry. I'm passionate about female employment. Okay, so I'm passionate about female employment and started an initiative to support. Okay, I hear you guys, but I still need to see a problem. Bridging literacy gap through education and creating awareness. Okay, this sounds like it. I still need to see a problem. Mary Olamide, thank you. This sounds like it. Oh, Onyeye drafts legal document very well and explain complex legal concepts to people. We need you. We need you on social media. Okay, this is great. So we'll walk through this together. Just if you can just do me a favor, copy and paste it in a place where if there's a need to review. Sorry, please give me 1 second. Please copy and paste it in a place um where we can, in case we need to review and know, so we can review. Passionate about bringing people to Christ. Thank you. We need you in this world too. Jali. Negative impacts of fertilizer of, okay, this is it. So now how, Usman, I hear you on how fertilizer affects agricultural products. Are you an academia? This sounds like academic something, but how do you do this now? So let's just keep it coming, and please copy and paste in case we need to like go through and edit. Oh yeah, we need you in on social media, or you need to start educating people. People are falling into problems because of their mouths. Okay. Pillar 2 now, personal branding. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself on this pillar 2. I'm not really a social media person anyway, but I try to do well on my LinkedIn. My Instagram can be very dry, but I try to do on my LinkedIn. One thing, I know you've heard this a lot, that LinkedIn is like the new CV now, and it's true. I know a lot of applications that, of course, after applying for this, I know a lot of applications I've put in, and they'll request for my LinkedIn. In fact, there was one application, they requested for my LinkedIn link, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah. So now you see that your social media is very important, like very, very important. And I can't count the number of opportunities that I've been able to get through LinkedIn. Like people will just reach out to me, your profile fits into XYZ, or would like you to come and speak on XYZ, or can you come on board as XYZ? So personal boundary and branding for you to stand out. Aside from, of course, you need to create your niche first. That's one. Two is personal branding. Visibility through consistency. You need to show up. Yeah, it's tiring. Showing up can be exhausting, especially on your platform if you are not a social media person. But you just need to put structure in place. Now it's not motivation. I'm not here to motivate you. You just need to put structure in place. So one thing I know that have worked for me in those periods I've been consistent, like people just see posts, like, oh, Lola is consistent. So I batch create content. I can just sit down, like for instance, I say this Saturday, what I'm doing this Saturday is I'm creating content for 2 weeks. And that is what I will do. So I batch create content. That is one way you can be consistent. Life can be very busy. Like for me now, this week was extremely busy. Like it's because of the meetings we had, it was very busy for me. But my contents were going out this week. People thought maybe, oh, I created this content like last week. I created them last week, and I just thank God for an opportunity to schedule your content. Just schedule them there, and it pops up when it should. So you need to be visible on your platform. You can choose one platform. Maybe LinkedIn, if you think LinkedIn is best for you, stick to it. Just be consistent there. Before you know, people will know you for one thing. And you also need to be authentic. Your identity should not be separated from your work. Like it is your work. You need to be as authentic as possible. What you do, because people can actually relate you to your work easily. I remember when I used to write, because I like coming up with words. Even when I'm talking, I like doing that a lot. They might not really you will not see them in dictionary sometime, but I just enjoy it. So when I used to write for a media outlet, I love writing on socioeconomic issues. And I do sometimes political issues too. I just enjoy it, especially geopolitics. I love it. So when I used to do that, I come up with words like I love doing that. So it started showing in my writing. In fact, there was a time my editor used to say, Lola, what's possible in English? I did not study English, but I know in writing, the moment you put it in quotation, I'm saved, right? Or I put it in Italy, I'm saved. But I try as much as possible not to have too much of it anyway. Train party. I try not to have a lot of them, but that is my own authenticity. So I am sure it shows the way I write. So you need to be authentic in your strategy. And you also need to build your clarity. What is that one consistent platform where people know what, like people know that you show up and they know what to show up as. They know you for this. For instance, now, if I go to LinkedIn today or tomorrow morning and I see a video of somebody shaking their bum bum on Nicola's page, I'm going to call him and say, somebody has hacked your IG. I'm going to say, guys, somebody has hacked your IG. What's going on? Because I know I wouldn't say that on his page. I know that's not what people know him for. But if I go there and see things like food, because I'm always seeing it on my field, something like food, something like food anyway. I'll read for food especially. Of course, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's still the one. Nobody has asked his IG. That's it. So you need to show up. It might not be everywhere. It might not be everything, but you just showing up as you regularly. People know you for one thing. For instance, let me mention popular names now. Let's do a test. Put it on the chat, in the chat. Let's do a test. If you hear Salem, what will I hope you guys know this guy. I know he's popular enough anyway. What will you think when you want to go to Salem's page? What do you expect to see? This is not a branding class, but let's just do that the activity. I'm waiting. If you don't know Salem, let's go to another place. If you hear Temi Global, Temilade Salami, what do you expect to see on our page? I'm giving names now. If you go to what's this Obi Ezenkwezli, if you go to our page, what do you expect to see on our page? Sustainability, fashion, and climate. Thank you. That's Temilade Salami. You get. So there's one thing that people know you for. And you know the amazing thing about it is, if you, for instance, now, if you pick Temilade as an example now, that is all you know her for. But approach, she uses communication as one approach. She uses education as another approach. She have what's it called? She has a fellowship program where she train young people. She called them eco champions. Yeah, eco champions. Now she's using business as another approach. You get. So that's what I'm saying. You have the core, but the approach you are using to achieve the core might varies. For me now, I have a core. I use research. I write policy briefs to influence policymakers and all. That's one of my approach. So, but the core is the core. Do you understand? So you need to show up. So now let's have it in the chat now. What is one thing people should think of when they hear your name? For instance, now for Oyinye now, if I hear Oyinye now, I just, oh, the legal practitioner. Samuel, what is that one thing people should think of when they hear your name? I want to see it in the chat. Queen, what is that one thing people should think of when they hear your name? Nicola, what is that one thing people should think of when they hear your name? Juliet, what is that one thing people should think of when they hear your name? Sumisola, writer, female advocate, great. Administration, Samuel, great. So you need to have that one thing people know you for. But that does not mean that that one thing cannot have different roots. I keep saying it. That does not mean that it cannot have different like missions. Oh my God, we have a missionary now. Means this is great. So people can know you for different things. People can know you for one thing, but the approach at which you achieve that one thing varies. But there's a main goal. You can have other things and a core. You have a core. When I ask you what's your core, this is my core. What's the story behind your core? This is the story. So that is what you need to know. Let's move on. Pillar 3, strategic networking. For mentees to leaders building alliance that matters. So when it comes to networking, it is not about what you can get first. It is about what you can give. I know it's not conventional. When you reach out to people to mentor you, you're always about so you can do this, you can learn this, you can. It's like it's always about you collecting and collecting and, but it is more about value. You need to be able to offer something. It should not be about what you can take. It should be about you. It should be you thinking, how can I help them? Like, how can I help them? I was telling somebody early this year that most of my jobs, interestingly, I never applied. Like most of my job, like when I say I did not apply, like official application, I'm writing, I'm applying, submitting CV. Most of my job I never did. I think just two of my jobs, yeah, two that I only applied for. But most of them I never did. How did I get most of the jobs? The last job I did that I resigned from when I was joining the fellowship with the UN. I wanted to, so there's a concept I came up with, and I was trying to see who are those doing it in Africa. So I started researching, especially in Nigeria, because I found out that okay, I worked with I worked with a consulting firm. It's called RTC. So I was introduced to the world of strategy, like proper strategy in that firm. So luckily for me, I don't know if I have time to tell you this funny story of how I got into the company. I applied for that company. I passed the first stage. The second stage, I did not pass. I don't know what happened, but according to them, I did not pass. But luckily for me, I got the contact of one of the recruiters now. We're just gisting, blah, blah, blah. We exchange contacts because we have similar interests. So we can do all that stuff together, blah, blah, blah. And all. So he just called me that he said, Lola, now, did you get email to come for the final interview? I said, no, I did not get email. I was like, what happened? I reached out to the HR. They said, unfortunately, I did not get to the last interview, blah, blah, blah. No. You know what I did? Thankfully, the guy was kind enough to forward me. He forwarded to me the email sent to him, to my email. So I knew the date, the time, and the address. Me, on that day, I dressed up. I went for the interview. But before I did that, I went to the website of these guys because I already envisioned myself working in that company. Why? I wanted to learn strategy because the CEO then was one of the leading strategists in Nigeria. And I wanted to learn from that guy. Like, so I was like, nothing is stopping me. This final interview will be the one that will cut me short. Nah. So I went to the website. I stalked all their big guys in the company. I checked their social media, even the CEO that was open to meet so I can learn from him. That was the main reason I applied to the organization. I stalked him. I checked his Facebook, checked his LinkedIn, went to their website, read their website from back to back. So when I got to the interview and they called me in, of course, I was the last person because I was never supposed to be there to start with. So the final slot, the receptionist allowed me entered. When I got there, I saw the panel of interviewers. They were checking the list. They could not find my name, none my CV, none anything. And one of the women asked me and said, Madam, you are not supposed to be here. Why are you here? Then I remember that in one of the posts, in one of their websites, they wrote, they have a quote there that in this company, we give people a chance to prove themselves. They have it on their website. Then I quoted that to her. It is you guys that say you give people a chance to prove themselves. So I am here to prove that I am actually worthy of a slot in this organization because I know the CEO and I would like to learn from him. And I stated I have XYZ skill that I can bring on board to improve XYZ thing they are doing in the organization. So they interviewed me because of that. They allowed me to stay. Thankfully, when they will hire, the CEO decided that he wants me instead because after that interview, we had conversation with the CEO, with the man I wanted to learn from. Like, because I've read about him, we kicked it off from the beginning. I was telling him, I don't know a lot about strategy, but I've seen research that strategy, that I'm coming to learn strategy from him, right? But I've seen it and I've even seen some of his communique where he indicated that 95% of the time strategy fails because of XYZ. And I told him that I hear him on the XYZ mentioned that, but is he not thinking that strategy fail because most organizations don't really have they don't really have consultants to be like an anchor for their strategy. Consultants just design strategy for them and give it to those companies. But there's no pen holder for those strategy to ensure that it is being accomplished. I feel that is the problem. That was why the man loved me. He was like, okay, I'm the one he's employing. And that was how I got the job. And I learned a lot from him. So from that, but it was in the corporate space. I'm heading somewhere. It was in the corporate space. I I love corporate space, but I was doing strategy for banks, for oil and gas. That was the people for senators. Those were the kind of people I was doing strategy for. But I was not really happy because that's not what I want to do in my life. I wanted to be in the impact space. Then I asked myself, do we even have non-profit consultants? Like people doing strategy for non-profit organizations. I searched, I even found out that non-profits don't even do strategy. Then I started making research. That was when I met a woman online. I saw her name, that she's a non-profit consultant. Then the question is, how am I going to enter into her space? One, I don't even know her. I just saw her online. I reached out to her on Instagram. I introduced myself, told her what I've done before for the corporate sector, how I can bring that knowledge into the non-impact space. I just want her to mentor me. And that was how she brought me in. And she was like, she has a company she's running, that she's not even just looking at mentoring, that she would like me to join her team. All right. I already volunteered for our organization for I think 2 months or 3 months without a pay because I just wanted to shadow her to see how she works with the non-profit space as a consultant and all. And I think after the second month, I gave her 3 months. I'm going to do it for 3 months. After the second month, she just told me, Lola, you know what? I want you fully on board. and she gave me like a very good position. When I was leaving for the UN, she was like, when you know you want to come and just let me know. There's always a space for you here. That was how I got in. I did not go to her to say, mentor me. I told her what I've done before in the corporate space. In fact, I mentioned names of strategy I've done before, the senators I've done strategy for, the companies I've done strategy for. I show her some of my strategy document I've designed. I even told her the approach I use for my strategy, and that was how she was like, okay, I need you in my company. Luckily for me, she was the only strategist in our company. So she's this MD and the only strategist. Others are just project managers and all. So I came on board and she employed me. And she, of course, she mentored me to showed me a lot of things when it comes to being a consultant for nonprofits. How to approach them, how to help them, and all. She helped me. So when it comes to strategic networking, you need to offer value first. You should not just go to people to say, Mr. Nicholas, I want you to mentor me. The first thing you should ask yourself, you should do your own assignment. What is that one thing I can offer to this person? Like the first story I gave on the man I learned strategy from, I offered something. I offered a solution that the company was not providing as at then. Although in hindsight, I should have been collecting, I should have negotiated for commission aside from salary, that okay, the percentage of the money we are getting from this new business line, I want 5% because I sort of like give them a new business line. Yeah. So, but that was the value I was bringing on board because I wanted to learn from him. He's a great strategist in Nigeria, and I learned a lot from him. So you need to bring value first. Secondly, collaboration over competition. I'm rounding up. A lot of people in this space, in our space, social impact space, I know we are passionate, but is it compulsory you start an NGO? Is it compulsory you start an organization of your own? For instance, for me, I was passionate about young people, about people in underserved communities. I have my own story. But luckily I met someone that our passion aligns. He's doing what I want to do. He's doing it well. I've never even seen him before. We're not friends. I don't know him from anywhere. I wrote him a message. I got his contact. I met him in an event. I got his contact and I sent him like a well-crafted message. My name, what I've done before, what I can do for him, why I think I should be part of what he's doing. And at first, it never replied me. I kept on disturbing his life. I was sending him message every month. Every month. Why? Because I know what he's doing. He's already doing it well. There's already a platform. I don't necessarily need to invent another wheel. Well, I can just join my tire with the existing motor or existing car. Let me just join my own tire so we can journey together. So that was what I did. So collaboration over competition. And I reached out to him. I joined them as a volunteer, a media person. From there, I moved to program manager. From program manager, I moved to senior program manager. And now I'm a co-CEO with him. And together, we've been able to reach over 10,000 young people in urban slum, rural communities, IDPs, across Nigeria and Malawi. And now we are still doing great things together. So when people ask me, oh, are you the owner of KFC? I co-own it. I'm not the founder, but it's like I see the organization as a public limited company. I have a share in it. So instead of competing with the organization, I decided to collaborate, which is better for me. So another thing is the main reason I asked us to do like our social impact DNAs. If I meet you now and tell you and ask you, what do you do? Who are you? You know those things they call elevator speech. I just like to, okay, let me write elevator speech. You know those things they call elevator speech. You should be able to say, this is who I am. I do XYZ because of ABC. in 1 or 2 sentences. You should be able to explain yourself. Because when you meet people, you should be able to explain what you do in simple terms. You don't need to explain a lot of things. You don't need to say plenty things. You know, when they say explain to me as if I am 5, you need to learn that thing. That way it makes you stand out because you understand, you know your onions, you understand what you are doing, and you understand why you are doing it, and you understand how you are doing it. You need to have the 3 wives and 1 husband behind your head. The why, the where, the when, and the how. Anything you are doing, if I ask you, Jali, why are you a missionary? Okay, what are you? You tell me you're a missionary. Why are you a missionary? Where are you missionary in? How are you missionary? If there's any word for that anyway. You need to be able to tell me, this is what I am, this is why I am what I am, this um, this is where I am what I am, and this is how I am what I am. I hope you understand. So you need to be able to tell me, like without blabbling. I need to know. You need to know, rather. So it is very important, such that when you meet people and they tell you to explain what you do, or can I meet you, you're not giving me history of, my name is Omolola. I'm the first daughter of 4 children. Nobody is interested in that. We want to know what you do, why you do what you do. What's your core why? What's your story? So that is like the third pillar I have for you today. Let me move on. So I'm rounding up anyway. The standout checklist. You need to test yourself. Are you building a blue ocean or you are swimming in the red? So the impact space is already like a red ocean, but you can have blue ocean because you need to use the first pillar. You need to have like a niche for yourself. Like the way you are solving this particular problem, nobody is thinking about it that way. Like me now, it can be you using research. Like Onyeye now, you can have a tool to be a legal practitioner that might be beyond the 4 wall of the court. So remember what I said. I remember I mentioned in the comment that I'm seeing a lot of things, but I'm not seeing specific problem. Do you have one clear problem you are solving? I'm not talking about solution now. I'm not saying I'm trying to help people to learn, to know how to read and write. What is that problem? Literacy gap. Problem is learning poverty. Problem is mortality rates, high mortality rates. Problem is fertilizer affecting agricultural productivity. Those are problems. So not to you saying I'm teaching young people on how to read and write. That is not a problem. So you need to be able to write down because if you cannot specify the problem, you are still specifying the solution in a problem way, then you don't have clarity yet in what you are doing. The first question you should ask yourself is, what is that one? For me now, the problem I identified is the fact that young people, I don't call it education, but if I want to tell you specifically, I will say the inequality of opportunity problem. Young people are not attaining their potentials, not necessarily because they don't have the ability, but they are dampened or they are hampered as a result of the circumstance they meet themselves or the opportunity their background or something. And actually for me, when I checked online, it's an economic term. So I could even, apart from defining it, I could quantify it. I could measure it. I could do analysis to quantify it. I was that lucky anyway. But you need to be able to tell us your problem. The problem you are solving, not your problem. The problem you are trying to face. And another thing, can can you prove that the problem really exists with numbers? What is the data backing it up? Now, let's leave your impact numbers alone now. The data backing the problem up. For instance, if I want to state data now, I will tell you, according to World Bank 2024, 70% of young people that are under the age of 10 years old can neither read or write in Nigeria. I'm telling you, so it implies I'm telling you that 70% of young people in Nigeria at the age of 10, they cannot read and write. That is, so the problem I'm trying to solve now is learning poverty. But that 70%, that is 7 out of 10 young people or out of 10 children in Nigeria can neither read or write. That is the data. So aside from the problem, look for data that you can use to back it up. You need to speak with numbers. And aside from data, what is the story? So now I've told you learning poverty is the problem. I've given you statistics of 7 out of 10 people. Then I tell you a story of a young girl or a young boy in Ibejuleki, Idata Ilagbo, an urban slum in Lagos that is in primary 6 but cannot spell CAT, cat. That's the woman aspect of it. Now I'm telling you a story. So those are the things that gives clarity to you when you are in and when you're in this space, development space, gives clarity to your work. You have the problem, you have the number, you have the story. Perfect fit. Now let's move to data-driven proof. Now you have done all of this, you have designed your program, you've come up with solution. The next thing for you to do is, can you prove your impact with numbers? Not just story. If I ask you, what you did, what is the impact, what happened? It is not just story. I can tell you that, okay, sorry. I can tell you that, okay, I train young people. Out of the 50 people I trained, out of school children that I decide to do maybe CBA, alternative education. Can't remember the full meaning now, but I think complementary alternative education is a tool on how to make out of school children learn. I'm saying, okay, I use alternative education approach to empower out of school young people in Nigeria. Now, what are my impacts? I can tell you, okay, out of 50 out of school children I try to use this approach for, 30% of them are back to school. Like 30% of them are now back into the school. 10% of them decided to go for vocational training and all. 5% of them decided to learn a trade. Unfortunately, 5% of them decided to go back to the streets. Of course, there will always be those kind of stories. So, but you need numbers to prove your impact. It's just me, not just coming to say, if you see, I have a lot of people in school right now, but I'm quantifying them. I know there's a place of you telling stories too, but you need to also quantify. And you need to have community connection. Lastly, you need to be part of global practice of community practice. You don't need to work alone. If you are working in climate change, there are a lot of, I think on Facebook, you see a lot of community of practice where you see young people like yourself working in climate change. If you're working in education, you will see them. If you're working, you will see them a lot, like in all those kind of community of practice. Just try to be part of those kind of community of practice, because there you will see what people are doing, how they are doing it, how they are not doing it well, opportunities. You will see all those things. They'll be dropping opportunities for conferences, meetings, all those things. So it's better. Instead of you working alone, you should not work as a lone ranger. You should be able to join all those kind of things. So these are like a standout checklist for you. The impact audit, you need to transfer your current state into a standard positioning. like what I've been, all these things I've been saying now is just me trying to round up. What do I do? Instead of you saying I help kids, I use data to reduce school dropout rates. I use XYZ to do X ABC. How do I do it? I design. Remember, I told you that I don't like using project management. I like to spell it out. I design evidence-based projects and implement them. Who knows me? And why does it matter? I'm changing system. I'm ensuring that this community change from point A to point B. So those are the things that make you stand out. So you need to move from a social worker to social architect. One clear problem, one consistent platform, one brave step. So now, a task that I really want to give us, I think that's the next thing, yeah. I really want to give us a task now. You need to write your why. It can be 300 words, but not too much. Write a 200-word post about your purpose, what drives you, what problem you solve, and why it matters now. Post it on LinkedIn. You can post it today, you can post it tomorrow. Copy makeup page, and we'll just read through and let's watch what happens. But you need to have your story. You need to have your impact statement, your social impact DNA written out. So now this is like a practice for you. Write it out. What is your purpose? Like, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What problem are you solving? Or what problem do you want to solve? And why do you think it matters now? So, thank you so much for having me. I think I'm right on time. If you have any questions, I'll be available to answer them.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that enriching session. Please, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box or raise your hand so that I can know. Um, okay. Please unmute and speak. I can't see the name from it. Mr. Israel, is that you?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mrs. Omolola Bipede. I don't know if I pronounced it well. Um, it's been an exciting time with you this evening. My name is Israel Oriako. I'm one of the co-founders for Nick Hub. And on behalf of the board, I'm here to appreciate you for accepting our invite and creating time to come lectures tonight. It's been an exciting time listening from you. And I want to also believe that the students have also learned a lot tonight. So I'm just here to say thank you so much. We really, really appreciate this, and we do not take it for granted. And we're grateful that you could squeeze out some time, your busy schedule, to come do this with us. Once again, thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope it was worth the time.
Yes, it was. It's far worth it, and we're grateful. Over to you, Precious.
Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, please, if you have any questions, do drop them in the chat box or please raise your hand so that I can call you to ask your questions. Hello.
It seems people are shy to ask questions. So let me start by helping them ask one or two questions so that we can make this very interesting before she leaves. I would encourage you all to ask your questions because she's a very busy woman and you might not get her again in a long time. Even if you send her a message on LinkedIn, she might not reply you immediately. It might take you some weeks. So this is a good time to when we bring in people here, this is a good time to steal a little bit of wisdom from them. So I've been listening to everything you had taken today, and one of the questions I'm asking is, I remember you trying to draw a Venn diagram around what you do and interject or intersect it with your superpower. So my question is, how do you block your mind over the other things of interest? Okay. For example, I know that some of the persons here I interviewed them for GMP. Chidoziem, I was so happy to see that he's on the call. He does a lot of things. He actually does a lot of things, and one of the reasons why I approved him from joining GMP is because I wanted him to come in and get a little bit of clarity about everything he does. So I'm saying that there are a lot of people on this call who do a lot of things. What is the first step they need to take to get clarity and also be able to define their superpower just like you have done? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'll take your question first before we move to Kende Kuka. I think I saw his name and his hands up. So I was looking for the Venn diagram I was referring to. So I can give you like, let me see if I can bring it up. I think I can still share my screen, right? Um, can I still share my screen? Yeah. So let me share so you understand what I'm saying. So one thing I know I did well. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm showing you?
I think it's loading.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sorry. So this is what I did. This was like, remember I mentioned that I wish I was like I have access to a board so I can draw what I did. But I remember that I put it in a PowerPoint somewhere, so I quickly went to bring it up. So this is what I did, like Venn diagram of my career life. The first circle, I asked myself, what are you good at? The only thing, I'm not only good at research or project management, I'm good at a lot of things. No, I will not use the word good. I know how to do a lot of things. But when it comes to what am I good at, like what can I do without unnecessary, like if somebody wake me up and say, Lola, do this, I can do that without so much practice. So we all have that. And if you list out 20 things that you know how to do, you might be able to narrow what you are good at to maybe five. You just need to be you need to do that self-reflection. Then I wrote what I'm good at. Then I asked myself, what am I? Like, what do I want to be known for? What brings joy to me? What do I love? What makes me smile? What makes me want to go all out or that I can do over and over again, even without being paid? Like, what can I do with love that I don't necessarily need to get paid for it and I will do it? I wrote it down. Then I asked myself the genuine question, what pays well in all of these that I've written down? What pays me well? Because of course, I also need money to keep soul and body together. What pays well? Then I wrote it down. Then after I wrote all these theory circle, then I checked this first circle, the second circle, this first, this second, this third. What are the things they have in common that can put inside this intersection? And that is the career that fits me. So you just need to look at this diagram and do that self-reflection to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not a therapist, so I might not be able to help with that. But you really need to sit yourself down and ask yourself these questions. Then look at everything you have written in all the circle. What is that common thing to all of them? And that will be that will most likely be the career that fits. Because the career that fits has to be something that you are good at, something you love doing, and something that pays you well. So that is how I came about it. Then the next question I asked myself is, how do I do it? That is why I brought my research into project design and implementation. That what can I do that will stand me out that people currently in that space are not really looking into data and research? And I'm very good at it. I know how to do it well. I enjoy doing it. It pays well. Then I link it with program implementation and design. So that is one way I know you can go about it. Any question? Is that fine?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sure I've been able to. You've been able to answer a lot of people's questions. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, Kennedy, you can go ahead with your question, please.
Good evening, man. Thank you for that one. Also, ma. This is actually one of the major challenge that we youth, young ones have, and it finds it difficult to even picture out what we really wanted, even what we have passion for. Very, very difficult to discover, like, okay, this is what I love doing, this is what I. Although somebody said that, okay, probably if you can't figure out what you love doing, figure out what you hate doing. I don't know, because I don't know whether if that work can work, because even as at now, I know I love doing a lot of things, but the one I love doing most, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I feel probably the background are things that caused um lack of exposure, that made us not to be aware of things that we really want to go into. It's more like the question Nico asked, and I was not like asking like what are the recommended probably books you think you can recommend for us that can help us, that can even help us to shape what we really wanted to do. That is my question number one, and
Okay.
that's it, man.
Okay, I thought you said that was question number one. I want to look for Nicholas. Maybe he's on this group. Nicholas can actually recommend books because he reads a lot. Me, I listen to podcast more. Usman, I will come to you.
It can
Um,
probably work as also a method to listen to that can help us shape, like help us identify what we need to
okay,
get.
okay. So so one book I know I read that actually helped me is called Purpose Driven Life. I think Rick Journal. Can't remember now. Let me check online. I think Rick Journal something. Purpose Driven Life. That's helped me.
You
Mm,
mean requiring?
yeah, requiring. Thank you. Yes, requiring, not journal. Requiring. So you can read that book. You can read the book, And there's another book called, I think, Above Average. Yeah, Above Average. That book too, Above Average. Is it Above Average? Can't remember now. Yeah, Above Average. Amita Bashir. I think Above Average. I think there's a book called Above Average. I can't remember. I'm seeing the back
Yeah,
cover
there's
right
a
now in
book
my
like that.
yeah,
Let
I'm
me
seeing
get
the
the
back
name of the
cover in
author.
my head right now, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
then
the author. Mm, yeah. And another one that I read that I really, really love. I really, really love. Atomic Habits. That one actually shaped my productivity life. Atomic Habits. You can read that. And I listen to podcasts randomly anyway. I listen to podcasts. I listen to Diary of a CEO. I listen to some funny podcasts that you might not find interesting, like Freakonomics. So those are the but podcasts that will help you to shape purpose. I might need to look for maybe when I check if I have some, I will surely write the team. They can send to you guys. But one thing I want to say is that Kende, in every you feel yes, you might feel like you do a lot of things, but I think when we have time and I say, okay, tell me the things you love to do. I'm sure we'll find a common ground that there is one core that the rest are just like an offshoot of the core, but they are not the core. I don't know if you understand. There is one thing you like to do that is reflecting other things you are doing. For instance, for me, I love to design projects. Like I love it. I love to design projects. And designing and implementing projects, that's project management. But before I found that I love to do that, I see myself that I love to plan events. It is me that will help my friends if they want to plan party in their house. I'm the one that is doing spreadsheets, doing checklist of pre-events, doing events, post-events. I have plenty spreadsheet for that. I'm the one that will make sure that things are in order during the event day. Is the MC around? Have people eating? Even if I'm not eating, I'll make sure people have eaten. I just want things to be in order. Those were the offshoots of me. They were not, I'm not an event planner. They were not the core. But when I sat myself down, I realized that I enjoy designing projects. I'm passionate about SDG4 and I enjoy design educational projects. And that is what I started doing. And I'm good at research. I just plugged in research into project design and all. You get, I'm good at data analysis. I just plugged it into it. But that was my core. The offshoots were just me planning event for people, making sure the events go well, ordering people for people, creating checklists when people want to plan one thing or the other, managing this, managing that, managing people's life. In fact, at a point, I thought I would be a coach because if somebody is telling me, oh, I want to travel to XYZ something, I'm already planning, okay, before you travel, you should do this, you should do this. I was I was already doing that. Those things were just offshoot. They were not my core. Not until I found the core that, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. And this is how I want to do it. So I'm sure when you sit yourself down, you will always find the core. The rest are just offshoot of the core. So let's move to, I
Hmm.
think,
I wanted to say something that at times when we don't really have opportunity to explore what we what we love, you might not even know that you love that thing or you really have passion for that thing until
Yeah,
you get the
that's
opportunity. I don't know whether
yeah,
you can
that's
get me.
yes, I understand. I can relate. That is very true.
Like,
That is
and
very
even like I love research. I love like asking questions, trying to know why, trying to get the root cause of it, especially when it comes to psychological or mental or something. But I'm not really exposed to that field. Now, I don't know, like almost seems like lack of opportunity at times make it difficult for us to find our purpose. We just have to just stick to the one that we had the opportunity to, and we think we found a purpose
true.
in the one we had the
You are
opportunity
doing.
to
Yeah,
and
I
do.
hear you. That's true. That is why it's very important. Sometimes you need to create the opportunity yourself, or you need to put yourself in that space. Like for me now, when I found out that I like designing projects, there was nobody doing it around me. The first thing I did, my first volunteering experience, I did not know the person. I've never seen her before. I just went online to look for NGOs um doing educational programs in Nigeria. I was even specific in Ibadan because as at then I was in Ibadan. And I saw some list of people. I started searching for them on Facebook one after the because one thing about me is I don't want to enter space that does not align with my values. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. I just want to ensure that anything I'm entering aligns with my values. I want somebody that has integrity. That is why with the current person I am with, KLCI, and I'm so content with working with him. So I searched and I saw some people, but I saw one specific lady, Busola. Then she was Busola Majekudumi, but I think she's now Busola Oni. I saw her, I checked, I love her life, I love her story, and I decided to volunteer for her. She was the person that gave me my first volunteering experience, allowed me do this, do that. I told her what I can do, and she gave me the space to do them. So I looked for those opportunities myself. Honestly, Ken, the opportunity will not drop on your laps. They will not. You need to search. I was doing this meeting I told you we're doing in UN. I was opportune to speak with one man from UNFPA, and he was telling me that when young people, of course, I'm still a young person. So he was telling me he's an elderly person, but he's not old. He's middle age anyway. He was telling me that when young people say they don't get jobs, they don't get opportunity, and I asked them how many have you applied for, and they tell me I've applied for 5. I said, do you know what I do? I show them my laptop. He has a folder called jobs on his laptop. He's a senior, he's a senior level person, personnel in UNFPA. He has worked with UNESCO, he has worked with UN Women, he's currently working with UNFPA. He has a folder called job. And when he opens the folder, if you see the number of jobs he has applied for. So he has a folder of the ones that are rejected. So he told me, say, you know one thing I do? I copy the TOR, terms of reference. So as when they call me for interview, I'll not start racking my head to say, okay, what was the term of reference of this one? That was that's to show you the number of jobs he applies for per day. He told me something, said, I can apply for 10 in a day. It is left to them to call me or not. I have done my part. But I will not apply. It is a lie. So he was not saying, so young people, opportunity will not drop on your lap. You need to go searching for. You need to search for. So there are opportunities out there. We are very lucky in this our generation. There are a lot of information online. There are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of things. One thing you need to do is to search. Let me tell you something. I have a student, when I was doing my PhD in UI, I was asked to lecture 100 level students. One of my students walked up to me and asked me, Ma, do you know anything called neuroscience economics? I've never heard about this before. But I know neuroscience is something around cognitive ability, brain, because of neuro. I was like, I don't know, but she asked me in class, let me go and do research about it. I did research and I was like, so this is, and it is a branch of economics of its own. But I would never have known if she has not asked me and I did not take my time to check online. And I was now seeing opportunities in there that I was sharing with her. You can do this, you can do that. And I told her you to go and Google. Google is your friend. So Kende, you need to search. That's actually opportunity. Sometimes opportunity might not come in form of that, but there's something called day one. That can be your day one into what you're supposed to be doing. It might not come with payment, but that will be your day one of you doing what you want to do. And before you know, you start getting paid for it. When I started doing project management, nobody was paying me a dime. I was doing it with passion. I was broke. Although I was young, but I was broke. I was not collecting any money. Now I get paid to design project for people. So that's just that. Just look for the opportunity, join something, be doing something, have a track record, build your portfolio, have your brag documents of what you have done. That will be your day one. Before you know it, it will be one day. So that's what I have to say, Kendi.
Thank you, ma. I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma. Please, do we have any other questions so we can call it a day?
I think I saw his Usman hands up. I don't know if he still has his hands up.
Oh. Usman, are
Yes,
you
yes,
there?
ma'am. Yes, I'm active. Okay, good
All right.
evening, everyone, and good evening, ma'am. Thank you for the awesome section. My question is concerning where you're talking about after we've identified the problem that we want to solve. You talked about getting uh, datas that we have proof of the problem we want to solve. What about a situation where maybe the problem you want to solve is something that has not been published, or maybe other people are still working on it, but there is
Give me an example.
no valid problem you want to solve? How can you go about it? I don't know if my question is clear.
Yeah, your question is clear. Give me an example of something like that.
Okay, currently as a graduate student, I'm working on heavy metal contamination in vegetables sold in on the farm, open market, and the supermarket. But I've searched through journals and articles, and I'm yet to find any reports on. Although I've seen reports on the ones sold on the farm, I've seen reports on the ones sold in an open market, but I'm yet to see the report of the ones sold in a formal market, like supermarket. So in
Okay.
my attempt to put my in my literature review, now I'm trying to see how I could inculcate these three self spots on it. But since I've not gotten articles on the ones sold on the formal market, which I believe is going to be my statement, a core justification for my problem case study. So how can we? I just use that as an example, but looking at
Yeah, yeah.
other
I
fields
get
outside.
you, Usman.
Oh,
I think I understand you. So in case you don't see statistics on something like that, you can look for stories. And now, so I would say story for impact space, people that are doing project implementation. But when it comes to research, you can look for literature, like findings of people that have said something. And if you cannot find it, then that's the gap. That's for research anyway. But when it comes to project implementation or in the impact space, the development space, you can look for stories. For instance, there's some data I will not get on some issues in the development space. Not because the data will not exist, but unfortunately, we don't have the data on the ground. So for me, as a development, as a researcher, as a microeconometrician, I can look for the data because there are ways I can use to look for the data. But if I don't have the time to look for the data, I can use stories to say For instance, I'm not into agric, unfortunately. But for instance, like your own now, a farmer, this and this happens. You move to the retail, you move to the shops, you get story. You can even gather your own data. Let me tell you one. There was one proposal we wanted to write on Ibejuleki and all. There's no data on the number of students that goes to school in Ibejuleki, but we want the data to be specific. What did we do? We did a needs analysis, a needs assessment rather. Go there to interview people. That was how we came up with the statistics of 2 out of 10 young girls in that community are the only ones that are able to transition from secondary school to university, while 8 of them remain trapped in poverty or they get pregnant or one thing or the other happens to them. So you can gather your own data if you have the time. It can just be you asking questions randomly from people that you know are facing the problem you are trying to talk about. So from there, you gather data. Even if you cannot quantify it, it can be qualitative. You can tell their story. You can quote them. So that is one way to also do it. You can quote them when you are indicating your problem statement. But remember, that is for impact space. When it comes to academic research, it's different. So don't mix it up. Now answer your question, Usman.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. I'm sure there are no more questions and there's no question on the group chat. So but thank you so much, Ma, for tonight's session. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we had fun tonight.
Thank you, Ma. Okay, we've come to the end of tonight's class. Thank you so much, guys, for being here to the end. Good night, everybody.